Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
me, Rob. Let's get them picks on the way.
Oh, yes, the picks. So Rob may have absolutely crushed me last week, like a bug.
There may have been the best week probably ever since we started this.
Dude, seriously, I look at the thing and I'm like, I didn't even do that bad pick-wise. He just did that goddamn good. Like, crushed it. If you had put some money on this week, you'd be a very happy man right now.
You know what's terrible is that I actually did a lot of those picks, and a lot of the picks I got right, I just tied the Atlanta Falcons into a lot of those.
Ooh.
I literally had a bet like where I put $5 in would have won me like $300 because of the different spreads. The only thing I got wrong was Atlanta Falcons.
Aye. Well, we got that.
We'll get to that later.
Plus, we got more talk on the offensive line. We got to talk about John Mara's latest comments on the team, which have gotten everybody all a buzz. And, of course, we got to talk about the fact that we got two Giants that are actually closer to the Hall of Fame now. That's pretty big news there. Plus, Bill Belichick is being a Bella biatch on the Pat McAfee show. Oh, I said it. It's okay. I didn't say it quite right, so therefore you have to bleep me. So let's get right into it here, guys. So we're going to start off with, of course, talking about the tackle update that Brian Daboll gave us there. So Brian Daboll started off here talking right about that with the media this week. He said that Josh Ezeudu, along with new Giant Chris Hubbard, will both get reps at the left tackle position this week in practice. Ezeudu is going to be getting the first crack at the starting spot, and they're basically to see how practice goes at that point before they decide what they're going to do. Now, keep in mind, this is not your normal week of practice. Like, for example, this usually the Thursday episode would be giving you guys the update on the injury report. We're not doing that today because the first one just came out today because of the late start in the week there. So we'll do that on Sunday night when Rob and I give you all the updates on what happened this week in football there. So we got to see how this whole plays out. We don't know yet. We don't have no clue how the whole thing's going to play out. You got the veteran who's been a savvy veteran for a number of years now in this league, but was literally on a practice squad in a team with not the best offensive line in the world. You got a guy who played horrible, settled down somewhat throughout the game later on. He actually got one of the better PFF grades of the line, which is really sad. That's more of a statement on the line than him, I feel like. That guy had people blowing past him. It's not even funny. I was watching the Shakedown Network. They had a thing they were doing yesterday while I was editing our show. Afterwards, I was watching, and they showed the video of Nolan Smith going ahead and beating Josh Ezeudu. And he just went like that, pushed him. You see the guy leaning back at that when he got pushed back like that. He's given up 100 pounds to Nolan Smith. Like, Nolan Smith literally weighs 100 pounds less than him. That's a bad look for Josh Ezeudu, guys. That's a really bad look for Josh Ezeudu. A 100-pound guy beat you. So I don't have the most confidence, that's for sure, in Josh Ezeudu. That's for sure. As you mentioned on the show yesterday, the Eagles were struggling to get to the quarterback prior to this week. Like, that was not a good strong suit for them. And definitely a strong suit last week. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, they've been an average defense at best this whole year. And we made them look solid.
Yep, 100%. On the topic, Daboll said, we'll go ahead and go through a normal procedure, and then we'll see where we're at the end of the week. Specifically talking about new Giant Chris Hubbard, he said he'll get reps there. He'll get reps today there, and we'll see where we're at. He also mentioned the visit of DJ Humphries that we talked about in the episode yesterday. He said nothing's on the horizon right now. I think he's a good football player. If it's the right fit, then we'll work something out. If it's not, then we won't. So typical Brian Daboll, no answer. Like,
pretty much.
Yeah, like that tells me nothing. Give me something, Brian. Give me something.
Damn you.
It's like, Part of me loves it and part of me hates it. Cause it's like, remember how many years the Giants would just say things and like everybody knew like Jerry Reese was the worst. That man could not play poker whatsoever. But you know, it's kind of frustrating because as a Giant fan, I'm curious where we're going. Like, is DJ Humphries healthy? Are we going to sign him because he beat upgrade? You know, how does Chris Hubbard look? Why was he sitting on the practice squad? You know, there's a lot of questions at that point, really, on the team. There really are. But, you know, obviously we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to take that kind of approach because that's literally what the Giants are saying they're going to do. So therefore, they're not going to tell us jack until they have to. And again, they shouldn't. It's a competitive advantage for the Steelers have no clue what's going on here. You know,
Yeah.
Go ahead and start Hubbard. We can start Ezeudu. We can move Illuminor over. We can go ahead and sign DJ Humphries tomorrow. Like, we have no clue what's going to happen, guys. No clue.
And like I said, it's competitive advantage because, like, once again, it's hard for you to plan your defense on how you're going to attack this offense. Like, if you're looking at the left tackle position, like, if you're all the way just looking at the line, like, are you just going to bombard the left side, or like, are you just going to blitz down the middle? Like, are you just, what are you going to do?
Yeah, and I'm kind of shocked, really, that they didn't mention the Luminor thing. I brought it up just now, but Daboll didn't, because I'd be throwing that in there too, just to piss off the Steelers. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe we move a Luminor over, and one of these guys plays right tackle. Like, you should be throwing them into as much confusion as possible at this point. You really should be. You know, the line needs every advantage they can get. Let's be honest here.
Maybe he didn't say it because that's exactly what he's going to do.
Who knows? Who knows? He's sneaky. He's very sneaky.
Sneaky.
Never
Brian.
underestimate the sneakiness.
Yeah, you underestimate my sneakiness.
All right, let's get into the big news here, guys, because this is the one everybody can't stop talking about. So John Mara says that patience is needed. Now, it's patience on his part, guys, not on our part. I should clarify that, because you see that, you're like, oh, whoa, what do we mean we got to be patient? We've been patient, buddy. Like, that's not what they're saying. So he spoke during the screening of the NFL films The Duke, which is a film about his father, Wellington Mara, who, those who may not be aware, was literally called The Duke, not to be confused with John Wayne. But he was he's a very, very influential figure in the NFL for many, many years. And that's why literally it says The Duke on the football, is because of that man. That's how influential he was, that every single game day football has his nickname right on it. So that'll be coming out soon publicly at that point. So, you know, obviously I'm going to encourage anybody who gets the chance to watch it by all means. It's Giants history they're going to be talking about. You know, I'm always a big believer that if you're a true fan of a team, you should be learning its history as best you can. There's a lot of things that Rob and I were not alive for, or sometimes even way too young to remember. Like, let's talk about the Rose Bowl Super Bowl, for example. But we take the time to learn it. Even though I was 4 years old and Rob was in diapers, we still take the time to learn it.
It's barely at the womb.
Yeah, basically, you know. So anyway, here's the comments he said. John Mara said, obviously, we're all very disappointed with where we are right now, but I'm going to say one thing. We're not making any changes this season, and I do not anticipate making any changes in the offseason either. Let me just throw this right at you guys. Who remembers the very first press conference when the season was over?
Excuse me, sorry.
No. I'm saying this. When the very first press conference, when the season was over, we anticipate having Wink Martindale back with us next year. Did the Giants actually anticipate that? No. What happened is kind of what they hoped would happen. You know, so I'm going to take that with a grain of salt, because it's week 8 we're going into right now. So they played 7 games, not even a half of the season. Of course, you shouldn't be anticipating make those kind of large changes. That doesn't mean you go on a 5-game losing streak and all of a sudden you don't make that kind of change. It's all going to depend on how much Daboll loses the room and how much confidence he has in Joe Shane going forward as well. So,
exactly. And also, once again, like what I was kind of alluded to before with my allergies, is they said the same thing about Joe Judge and Big Mac do, and within similar time frames, Joe Judge way less. They moved on.
Now, Joe Judge did it to himself, though. Let's be honest. He had a meltdown, basically, publicly. Was not a very good look.
Yeah.
Good coach. Talking about Shane Daboll, though, he said the process that they have, being in meetings with him, talking about where they see us going forward, talking about their evaluation of our personnel, I still have confidence in both of them. I think to try to be more patient than maybe I've been in recent years. He said he, meaning his father, Wellington Mara, preached that all the time. I've probably been guilty of not being patient enough in recent years. That's one of the reasons I'm committed to Joe and Brian Daboll and giving them a chance to turn this thing around. I will say this. I do like the fact that at least he's saying that this thing needs to be turned around. I mean, that's at least that's the first step is admitting you have a problem.
We're on the wrong track.
It's like alcoholism. I'm just not sure the second step. I have a problem, but it's not really a problem. I kind of enjoy it.
There's an empty one.
I can quit anytime I want.
Yeah, like when I go to sleep or pass out.
Now, they're talking more about patience. He said it's very difficult because the last 10 or 12 years have not been very good for our fans. It makes it particularly difficult, but you've got to do the right thing, and we are committed to doing that, committed to seeing this process through. So I kind of like that part of it. It's kind of like, listen, I understand it sucks for you guys the last decade, but we have to not make snap decisions and make smart decisions. That's basically what he's saying there.
Pretty much.
Like, I'm recognizing your pain, but I'm telling you this is why we're doing it this way. Like, I can get behind that. I really can. And if you guys watch, again, Hard Knocks, I still wonder how much of it is not scripted and how much is scripted. But he didn't want to lose Saquon, guys. And he let Joe Shane do what Joe Shane did. And I don't mean that negatively. Like, I know people like a lot of people don't like Mara. Let's be honest, he's the owner, so he gets a lot of slack when there's long-term losing. That's just life in that position. You know, he can cry into his $100 bills. They're stacked everywhere as he dives into his Scrooge money bank. I mean, like,
spit out his gold coins.
But at least he's saying, hey, listen, I know this sucks for you. I feel the pain that you guys have. But we're doing this, and this is why. I'm okay with that. You've communicated it. You've told me you understand it. You haven't mentioned any medium cokes, which is just would piss the fan base off that much more. I'm cool with it. He was also asked about Daniel Jones. He said, I'm not going to dissect individual players' performances or the offense versus the defense or anything like that, which is perfectly fine the way he said that. Get nipped into the bud right off the bat. Like, I'm not going to do that. Don't ask about anybody else. That's what he should do. It's not his job to do that. It's his job to sign checks and be behind closed doors in meetings. That's his job. You want somebody to be the face of the franchise, that's what you had a GM and a head coach for. That's not yours. Yep. That's not what you're supposed to do. So, all righty, guys. We got to talk about Eli Manning and Tiki Barber, who are this much closer, guys, getting the Hall of Fame. Before we do that, we're going to pay the bills. And then we're going to bring on a special guest star that we have for the show here.
Ooh.
So, yes. You could say this guest. Sassy. You could say this guest is the cat's meow. You could definitely say that.
Enjoying the show. Looking for more goofball action. Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
All righty, guys. So, luckily we haven't had it happen yet, but I should give you guys some warning that you may hear some weird sounds coming from my podcast room. Usually I have a nice quiet area. So, we are officially fostering a new cat. So, as my wife's on here saying, show us Martini, we have a new cat here named Martini, like I said about the drinking problem before. So she's here in the podcast room with me. I should just do the rest of the show like this, just holding the cat. Like Dr.
Yes.
Here. See if the mic picks up the purring. So
Eli Manning.
She won't stay here too the whole time is the crazy part. So makes it a little more difficult to maneuver with the mouse, that's for sure. Alrighty, guys. Let's let's get into the topic we promised here. So we got to talk about Eli Manning and Tiki Barber, who, guys, I know I'm going to be a little homer when I say this, but these guys are both bona fide Hall of Famers. Tiki Barber should have been in the Hall of Fame point blank already. And maybe this is the year, guys. This is the first year of eligibility for for Eli Manning. So it's not like we can complain about him not getting in sooner. But I will definitely complain when it comes to Tiki. The nominees are down to 50 nominees for the modern day players that get in. So keep in mind there's multiple categories. There's the modern day players. There is the veterans committee, so to speak. They're getting the old timers there, like the Otis Anderson and Carl Banks. Not they probably appreciate being called old timers, but it is what it is. Sorry, you guys played 40 years ago at this point.
The A's were a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, they had the committee for contributors and coaches, and that's where Tom Coughlin comes into play now. Originally, Chris Snee and Justin Tuck were also in the original group as well, so they did not make the first cut. Listen, I got a lot of respect for both players, but I'm sorry, neither one of them are Hall of Famers. I'll be the homer, but I'll be the honest homer. Like Justin Tuck and Chris Snee are both in the Hall of Very Good, and they're definitely, all-time great Giants, but they're not all-time great NFL players. There is a difference between the two.
You're probably right.
I usually am.
That's not true. You know that.
Except for the
but you can disagree with that. Yeah. Oh, with the one difference? Oh, we'll talk about that later.
Oh, we will. Listen, I'm still up. Anyway. So in another 4 weeks, they're going to go ahead and reduce the list down to 25. So they're going to cut that in half. And then the final list there, the final nominee group is going to be listed in February for everybody there. So we'll have to see what happens there. I hate to say it there, but I do think Eli is going to make the second to last cut and not make this class. That's my personal opinion. There's some people that just think that this first ballot Hall of Famer thing means something extra. So that'll probably hold him back because there's still a question in some people's eyes whether he's a Hall of Famer or not.
So guys, get out there and vote.
Stupid or not? That's that question. Is he stupid or not? But yeah. The next one is Tiki. And like I said, I think Tiki should have already been in. But there seems to be something against him. And I think it's, honestly, I hate to say it this way, but I think it's his personality.
Well, I mean, we've talked about Tiki like when he left the Giants and like how he went out sour. Like that goes a long way, which shouldn't reflect you on how you played in NFL. You can be the biggest douche out there, but as long as you can move that football downfield, that's all that matters when it comes to the Hall of Fame. Well,
it's also, I think it's beyond what happened with him and Eli. I think it's also just partially his personality in general. It's a little abrasive to some people. And I think it's also, there's the personal things he had with the ex-wife at that point when he first joined CBS and all. Again, that's his personal business. It shouldn't matter when it comes to things like this. There's people who have marital issues all the time. There's people that, again, I hate to say it this way because I'm not trying to make light of it on a personal level, but there's people who have extramarital affairs all the time. Like, that's not a thing for the NFL Hall of Fame. Whoa, what is going on there, Rob? We are losing you.
I don't know what's going on. I am sorry.
Rob, like a horror movie here.
Geek. Oh, jeez.
It's like the tape from Saw here. What's going on? But yeah, it's like, he's it's not the NFL Hall of Fame's business as far as that part of it there. So I'm hoping that that's not something that holds him back there. If you want to hold him back so you don't believe he's a Hall of Famer, that's one thing. But the personal stuff shouldn't get into it, Like that's what I think, at least. It shouldn't. So, we'll see what happens overall. But there's plenty of people you can make the case for not being in because of personal reasons. I mean, listen, we talk about him often on the show because he's an ex-Giant himself. He's also, we would call him the GOAT because he is the greatest defensive player of all time. Lawrence Taylor. Let's be honest, guys. If you're talking about players who maybe you don't want to put in the Hall of Fame because of things they did, just saying. I'm not suggesting he should be in the Hall of Fame, but it's like if you're going to leave LT and people that have done way worse than him, you can't take Tiki up because of personality issues and a least rumored extramarital affairs. I don't know if he ever admitted to point blank having one. So I don't want to say like he definitely had one, but that's the rumor.
Rumor has it.
Again, I've talked about the show numerous times, and I'll make the comparison again. He's the Giants' Marshall Faulk, guys. He has the same exact yards per year as Marshall Faulk on average. The only difference is Marshall Faulk, played 2 more years and had a lot more touchdowns. He played on better teams. The greatest show on turf. Tiki was Tiki. Tiki was the offense. And Tiki retired at the peak of his playing, which it sounds crazy because, listen, he retired early, but it wasn't like he retired at 27 years old. Like he was still, he was what, I think 30 when he retired, was it, I think?
I believe so. It was, right in that ballpark. Like he just got over his Fomaruski issues.
Yeah, 31 years old. So listen to this here, guys. This is the total yards here for him on his career from 2000 to 2006. You're talking a 7-year stretch, guys. Once he started being the Tiki Barber we know now. 1,725 total yards, 1,442, 1984, 1677, 2,096, 2,390, and 2,127, guys. That's insanity. The man literally has 15,632 total yards of offense to his career. That's nuts, guys. Absolutely nuts. Like, if that's something you can't sit there and respect, like that's a lot, guys. That's an absolute lot. I'm curious where he's at on the list, actually. It's making me want to look this up. So I'm going to do it. I love looking things up. But, of course, he's not even coming up. Let's see. He's got to be here. Let me see where he's at. So 15,632. Well, that's weird. He's not on the list for Pro Football Reference at all. Oh, here he is. So they got him return yards, too. I forgot he did return kicks and punts for a little while there when he first started. He's 17,359 total yards, guys. You know who he's right behind? Larry Fitzgerald and Curtis Martin. You think the guy's a Hall of Famer?
Definitely should be.
Top 17 all-purpose yards, guys. He's got more yards than Thurman Thomas, Tony Dorsett, Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, Edgerrin James, Jim Brown, Eric Dickerson, Isaac Bruce, Antonio Brown, Tony Gonzalez. I mean, we're talking like these are big names he's in front of, guys. We got to put some respect in the Tiki name, guys. I know there's some bad blood there, and some fans still will not like him because of the Eli comments. I get that part of it. You got to take the Eli hat off for a second. And just look at what this man did in his career. He is a bona fide Hall of Famer and should be in the Hall of Fame and should have already been in the Hall of Fame. And it'd actually be kind of fitting and kind of ironic to have him and Eli go together. Right? Wouldn't seriously, like, think about that for a second. Like, I'm just gonna throw that out there. Like, I think if you put imagine like Tiki Barber has to share the stage repetitively with Eli.
So he exited the NFL.
And then hold on, it gets better. Then you throw in Tom Coughlin, the coach he hated so much he retired to not play for him.
They all should get in. That'd be fantastic.
I listen, I'm still calling for it because I still think those guys are legit Hall of Famers. I still think that Carl Banks is a legit Hall of Famer. I still think that Otis Anderson, everybody I talked to that watched Otis play in his prime, says point blank he should be in the Hall of Fame. Like, we could have a bunch of Giants in the Hall of Fame this year, guys. This could be like a Giants class, and it wouldn't be out of chaos there. It would definitely be a legit bona fide thing to say. That's a little crazy, guys. I mean, Tiki Barber, by the way, I'm looking this up. He's 400 total yards away from Adrian Peterson. He's only 1,100 yards away from Barry Sanders. You don't think this guy's a Hall of Famer when he quit when he was still in his prime? I know 31 doesn't sound like a prime for a running back, but he was still over 2,000 total yards that year, guys. If he had played one more year, even at that point, okay, one more year, he'd be number 8 all time, and career all-purpose yards. If he had done 2,000 yards, if he had done, I mean, you never know what's going to happen, obviously, but he deserves to be in the Hall.
Definitely.
All righty, let's get into the guy that said some not nice things this week, and we're kind of like putting it off to the side a little bit here, guys. And then people keep bringing it up. I still keep seeing it on Facebook and stuff like that, and Twitter, and I'm kind of shocked by how popular it is to talk about this. So we're gonna go into it, and that's Bill bashing the Giants on the show. He was on the Pat McAfee show. Now, I know Pat McAfee has his like loyal people that like watch him nonstop while they're working and stuff like that all throughout the day. I'm not one of those people. I will not front and try to make it seem like that whatsoever. I have work to do. I can't sit there and watch TV or listen to the background while I'm working. I don't have that kind of job. But Bill Belichick does go on there periodically. I don't know if he gets paid like Aaron Rodgers does to do it. Just saying. There is an element of that why he gets really good guests.
Wait, so they're not good friends? Wait, what?
You mean the retired punter doesn't know everybody?
Yeah, wait, what?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. So here's what he said. He was kind of upset about the whole Barkley leaving the Giants thing, and not for the Giants. He was upset for Barkley's sake. And he said, it looked like in Hard Knocks, I don't think Daboll wanted to get rid of Saquon. And I certainly don't think John Mara wanted to get rid of Saquon. It just seemed like a general manager thing. Like, we don't think anyone will pay him. But kind of everybody in the league knew that he was going to go to the Eagles. I don't think everyone was on the same page with that. At least it didn't appear that way from Hard Knocks, which honestly, I'm surprised they even let that air with that kind of tone being in it. I really don't understand. He was their best player for a couple of $1 million more. They could have kept him. Instead, I guess they got a guard or something. I don't know. The offensive line doesn't look very good. They're playing a guy at left tackle who shouldn't be playing left tackle. Evan Neal was drafted in the first round. He doesn't play. Then have some UFA guards that are pretty suspect. It's a tough line. Honestly, I thought that the quarterback is trying to hang in there, but it's been tough sledding. That's a little brutal for a guy who, listen, if you talk to people who know Bill Belichick, he holds the Giants and the Mara family in very high regard. He really respects the time he had there, which sounds weird because that was like 40 years ago, but it's been a while. I'm not trying to sing a Sting song. It's been a while. But there's been rumors about him coming back. So I want to kind of break this down bit by bit here real quick, guys. So first off, I don't think Daboll wanted to get rid of Saquon, and I don't think John Mara wanted to get rid of Saquon. It just seemed like a general manager thing. Am I the only one who finds it odd that a guy who has had things come out that he wants to coach for the Giants, if Daboll gets fired, that all of a sudden is publicly bashing the general manager, when you all know if he comes here, he wants to be the GM? I'm just saying. That is craziness. Like, you publicly disrespecting a guy that if you were to take the coaching job, you might have to work with, or you just positioned it where this guy might want to work, might not want to work with you.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows that Bill Belichick was also, GM plus head coach for a long time. And like, he did talk about like stepping down from the GM role just to be the head coach. So like, why would he bash?
That's what's weird about this whole scenario. I feel like there's a hidden agenda in that portion of it.
Yeah,
I really do.
Does he want to become the GM and not the head coach?
I don't know. I really don't know. Only Bill Belichick and his barely legal girlfriend know.
Hey, she graduated, all right.
Probably not college. What, 24? It's insanity. He's got a big personality. But then you got to look at it from this factor of, okay, everyone who's going to the Giants, I would go to the Eagles. Then he said, I'm surprised they let it air out with that kind of tone. Again, this is him publicly disrespecting the front office. Just seems a weird move. I don't disagree with them on that part of it, though. I do think that's a little weird that they kind of let it go and try to make Barkley look at the villain, and like publicly we're talking about how he's old and stuff like that. Like that was a bit weird. Like I will give Bill that, but I find it funny that Bill's saying that publicly when again he might want to go work for this franchise. That to me is a bit of a bold move there. That is a weird bold move there. I feel like there's, like I said, there's got to be interior motive in there somewhere, guys. There really has to be.
I mean, he's on the Pat McAfee show. Like, let's be honest here. Like, it's not like there's a lot of restraint, if you will, on this show. Like, people just come out and say,
I get
whatever.
it, but still.
But sometimes, I mean, Drew, too, you're in sales, but sometimes in sales, like, you don't be buddy, suck ass, and maybe like lick your butt and get your sale from here.
I don't know what kind of sales you're in, but wow.
But sometimes
my job, let me assure you.
Sometimes you have to be like, hey. Sometimes you're like, hey, like, look what they're doing. Like, look how bad they're treating you. Like, do you really want that? Like going forward? Like, is that the service you want going forward?
Yeah. Like I said, to me, it's weird. And the way he talks about the line and everything, he's like, instead, I guess they got a guard or something. No, we got freaking Brian Burns, guys. Let's be very frank about this. Brian Burns is what prevented us from getting Saquon and McKinney back. The line was going to get fixed. The money was there without that. We were not getting a $30 million pass rusher if we re-signed those two, because that's about the $30 million right there, guys.
Yeah.
That's what we gave up to get Brian Burns, along with the draft picks, obviously. So, but a guard or somebody, okay, like the way he talks about this line, it's almost like he doesn't follow the Giants, which is weird if he's a guy who holds them in high regard. He's obviously been in NFL circles for years and years and knows these guys. Like, they have some UFA guards that are pretty suspect. No, Greg Van Roden is a undrafted guy at that point. That's the only guy. But he's been in the league for a decade now. Like, I wouldn't call that some like unproven random undrafted free agent like they're making it seem like.
Yeah.
And then you got John Runyon Jr., who literally Bill Belichick had to coach against in his Eagle days. His father at that point. That's how long Bill's been in the league. So don't tell me Bill doesn't know who John Runyon Jr. is. And then you got, the guy who literally was he a second round pick Runyon originally, I think, out of Michigan?
Yes, something like that.
That's a high pick. Like that to me was a little bit odd. He wasn't wrong on the Evan Neal thing. No arguments there. But they also says they got a guy playing left tackle who shouldn't be playing left tackle. That's what he said. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Andrew Thomas got injured.
Yeah.
I agree. He shouldn't be playing left tackle. Andrew Thomas should. He's injured. That's not an option. How's that Liz Frank surgery going? 1 week later, let's put you in. How well is that going to go? Just put the brakes in your wheelchair. You'll be fine. Like what are you expecting? Of course he's not supposed to be playing. The plan was to have Andrew Thomas play. He got hurt. It happens. Like, some of the things he said is just, like I said, I just thought it was weird. And then he ends it up saying, like I said, I thought the QB is trying to hang in there. This is what, honestly, that's the comment to me that wraps this whole thing up in a bow of saying, I am basically job interviewing for John Mara right now. He basically said, your GM sucked. He aired out the dirty laundry. Your offensive line is poop. You let a guy go that everybody knew was going to go. Oh, yeah, and your quarterback's trying that I know you like.
Yes, exactly how I read that as well. It's like I said before, sometimes in sales, you have to butter people up, and sometimes you have to tell them the hard truth. Like, hey, this offensive line is terrible. With that, your left guard, with that, the guy at the left, whatever or something.
Yeah,
like
it's coming from the guy who drafted it in the late first round, a guy from Tennessee, Chattanooga, that literally Sean McVay laughed at when he heard he got drafted in the first round.
Yeah, well, Sean McVay can't.
I said he had a third round grade on him.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, maybe Bill Belichick is in a little more of a glass house than he recognizes. Now, if we were hypothetically to get rid of Daboll, that being said, I'm not anti getting Bill Belichick. I'm anti him without a backup plan for when he retires because he won't last long at his age. Not saying life, like hopefully he has many years to go, but he's what, 72, 73?
72 with a girlfriend that's a third of his age, just about, and pretty
he's
sure
72.
that he'd be her grandfather.
He's 72. The girlfriend is 23. Yeah. Actually, no, she's 24 apparently now. That's weird, actually. One thing, the Daily Mail says she's 23, and the New York Post says she's 24, but so does the Sports Illustrated. So, yeah. That's just weird because he's like old enough to be my father, and she's too young for me to even look at anything than a kid.
Yeah.
Just saying. I got 20 years on her. Just about. Oh my God, chaos!
You could be.
Like I said, I wouldn't be anti having Bill Belichick. I just would be anti having him without a plan. Like, okay, here's Bill coming in. He's going to coach for a year or two. Here's his heir apparent behind him that he's going to groom to take over when he's ready. You have to have that plan at 72 years old, guys.
You have to.
Though I will say this: I always say he looks good for 72 because he's always looked old. But
he looked old. He looked 72 when he was 40.
But he looks like he looks to be in good health for 72. Is that maybe the best way to say it? Like he still was walking up and down the turf and stuff like that. Guys, there's some day at work at 42 I don't want to walk up and down the like somebody asked me today, where can you get down here and help me with this real quick? I'm like, I can't guarantee I can get back up again.
Yes. He's a mobile, like healthy-ish.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know his personal health, obviously, but
yeah. I don't know. I don't know about like the idea of Bill Belichick coming to New York Giants is obviously, it's romantic to a lot of old school Giant fans, even like,
full circle.
100% full circle. Could he bring us a ring? Who knows? Maybe we could.
Circle of the Giants.
We win Super Bowls.
Or at least we used to.
Yeah.
Back when we were good.
But, like you said, he's 72 years old. How long is he going to be in this league? And also, like, look at the decline he had after, Brady left. Not necessarily saying that Brady made him what he was, but is he just coaching old school football?
I had to get the cat after that. So we
can just had to whip that thing out, didn't you?
Here we go.
But is he still playing? Like, did he modernize himself into today's football and not what football was 20 years ago when he was rings?
I think that in the end, classic football still works on all ends. I mean, look at some of the teams that are winning right now. The Ravens, for example. The Steelers we're going to face this week here. These are two teams, ironically enough, in the same division, but two teams that run the ball nonstop, play good defense, and win. You can play old school football and win. I firmly believe that. I do think the big thing is you can't draft the way he drafted.
No.
And that's why I don't want him as a GM, but I would be okay with him as a coach. So, we'll see what happens. I mean, hopefully we keep Daboll. That's my main goal. I'm with Mara. I want to keep some continuity for once. You know, I'm tired of not having, having to like check to verify who the coach is real quick.
Yeah.
Who's this guy again? Joe Judge? Judge Dredd? What?
Yeah. Judge Judy.
So, all right, guys.
Mike Judge.
Let's get into the picks real quick for the week, and then guys, we're going to go through your comments there. I see a whole bunch of comments we got to go through. Now, I think we're 40 minutes in, guys, so I think we're going to do a little bit of an abbreviated version of our picks here real quick, because quite frankly, I don't think you all want to be here for 5 hours while we talk about every game like that. But if you have any questions on the games, feel free to put in the chat there, whether now or if you're watching later on. We'll go ahead and answer any questions you guys have. But let's get right into the picks. So we got to start off with the fact that apparently Rob somehow paid some refs off at this point this week, because absolutely insane the week he had, guys. Absolutely insane. Now, like I said, that's the weird thing. I'm not even upset with my picks. That's the weird thing. It's almost like that. It reminds me kind of like of that game when Eli and Drew Brees kept going back and forth for touchdowns, and like somebody had to lose. Like we both did, I think, pretty good. The big spot you got me on was the spread picks. That I wasn't as great on this week here.
But trifectas too.
But the trifectas was because of your spreads. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to get over-unders.
You got me on a few of them, yes. But I'm saying we both had 11 picks right on the straight-up picks out of the 15 games we had.
Which is fun.
73%. I'll take that all day long. The spread picks, you had 11 spread picks still on top of that. So I had 6. So I only had 40% of the spread picks. That wasn't as good a spread pick week for me. Again, 73% for you. Over unders, I had 8. That's 53%. I'll take it. Anytime you're over 50, I'll take it. You got 11 again. 73%. The straight up trifectas there again. The straight up pick, the spread pick, and the over unders. You had 7. I was almost thinking it should be 11 when I was looking at it. I'm like, what is 11? 11?
Yeah.
Seems to be a common occurrence here. And I had 4, which again, 4 of them is not a bad week. You just freaking crushed it. You had 40 total points this week. And I'm looking to verify real quick. I think that is like by far the most points that
of this years thus far.
So last week I had 36. That was the highest one we had all week long. Now, my 29, ironically enough, that I had this week is our third highest. Fourth. Yeah, fourth highest total that we've had all year long out of 14. So it still wasn't bad. It's just 40 is crushing it. So my huge lead that I had of 12 points, guys, is down to 1.
Ew.
Because the Rob's cheating.
Oh, yeah, everybody cheating.
You accuse me of cheating every week when I win, so it's only fair.
So you do the tallies.
Alrighty. We're going to go through real quick, guys, for you. Each of these games coming up this week. Now, we already gave you the Vikings-Rams pick. We said Vikings, and under. Now, I don't even know what's going on in that game, to be honest.
It is tied 14-14 at halftime.
So, okay.
So
yeah, that's not looking good for the over-under for us necessarily, but who knows? You know, that could still change there, but that's anybody's game, obviously, still. So, like I said, we're going to go through nice and quick here. So we're going to start off Eagles at Bengals at that point for the first 1 o'clock game. The Bengals are getting 2.5 points in this at that point because they're the underdogs. I'm sorry, they're losing 2.5 points because they are the favorites. It's a 48-point over-under. And the Eagles, by the way, are 0-4-1 all time in Cincinnati. But the Bengals haven't won a single game at home this week. This year. So interesting game. Someone's got to break that winless streak there. I'm going to say Bengals to win. I'm going to say Bengals to go ahead and beat that spread. But I'm going to under. I just have a feeling that the Eagles aren't going to put up a ton of points. It's going to be kind of a letdown. They were running on all fumes last week because they really wanted to do something for Barkley. That's not going to be there anymore. And they're going to get a little bit of a letdown, I think, in this game. What you got, Rob?
I actually have the complete opposite of you.
There we go. I can get my points back.
And nope, that's when I take the lead. because we have a lot of similar picks this week, but this is probably the only complete opposite game that we have. I'm thinking the Eagles will win this game. The Eagles against the spread, because that, obviously 2.5 points means absolutely nothing in modern NFL. Like, unless it's 21-20, but then I don't get the over/under. But I think that the Bengals offense is by far god awful, and their offense is fantastic. And I just think that the average offense and average defense that you have with Philadelphia is going to be enough to get the over here. And I think it's going to be like, I don't think it's going to be a super high scoring game, but it's going to be like one of those games where it's going to be like 24-27, where it's going to get over 50 points. And the Eagles are probably going to win because the Bengals just don't know how to do it at home.
All right.
Up next, another, you get your first divisional rivalry of the week. You get the Ravens going into Cleveland playing the Browns. And the Browns are, once again, the crap bowl of the league. And they're giving up 8.5 points to the Ravens. They're just, getting a home right at home. And the over-under is 44.5 points. What can you say to this game? You got Sean Watson, which might be the best things for the Browns that he is out. And you don't want to, I don't want to wish ill on anyone, but if anyone in the NFL is going to go down, let's be real. It's Sean Watson deserves it the most. And you got James Winston coming out as a meme himself, being the funniest guy in the NFL, trying to
He's the backup now. He's officially moved up the backup quarterback.
Wasn't he starting now? Oh, actually, no, he's hurt. He's hurt as well.
Yeah. No, he's just they downgraded him to the emergency quarterback last week when he got injured. They want Dorian Thompson to go ahead and do it. So so they're going to let the kid do it. They already know what Winston is at that point. Again, Winston wasn't the fact they want him as a backup quarterback would have been a decent trade option for the Giants if they want to get a quarterback in for the rest of the year, but that's probably dead now with that. So,
probably. So I'm taking the Ravens to win this game. Let's be real. The Browns are a terrible team. The Ravens are playing like how they should be. They're coming back too, especially in October. So I'm going to go and take them in this in the cover and the spread as well. And I'm taking the over just because it's a divisional game. But I also think that the Ravens are going to put up that many points in this game.
I'm with you. I got the same exact thing. So we got the Titans at the Lions next up here, guys. So Titans at the Lions. Lions are 11-point favorites in this. Sheesh, that's a ridiculous freaking spread. 45 points is the over-under. Now, Detroit has hit the over in each of the last 3 games that they've played in. Tennessee has hit 3 out of the last 4 overs. So, yeah, guys, guess where I'm going in that game. I got the Lions to win it. I think the Lions are actually going to beat the spread even. I think this is going to be an absolute demolishing. And I got the over on the points because history tells us that's what these two teams like to do. And it's for the Titans, unfortunately, it's because they like to give up a lot of points more than than they want to score a lot of points. But, because of those factors, I'm going over on that.
Yeah, I agree with you for the most part. The Lions are going to win. The Lions are going to slam in this game. They're going to crush. They're going to slam a jamma. But I'm going to take the under this game because I don't have faith in the Titans to put up many points in this game whatsoever. And I think it's just going to be, if the over's going to hit in this game, it's going to be by the Lions. And I just don't think they're going to do it by themselves.
Oh, they're not going to 35 is going to be the Lions. 35-10, I'm calling it.
Yeah, 35 to 3. It's going to be shellacking. But up next gets a little interesting because you got the Cardinals going into Miami to welcome Tua Tagovailoa back. Welcome to Miami, where we all get concussed.
Okay.
And today, Junior, the Dolphins are 3.5-point favorites at home. Tua's coming back. It's his homecoming, if you will. And over under this game is 45.5 points. If I'm going to bet this game, actually, if I'm going to tell anyone about betting this game, I'm going to say El Paso. I don't want to touch this game. You got Tua coming back. He's probably going to play well since he's been out for 4 weeks.
Yep.
You got the Cardinals who've played decent, but they play like the Cardinals have been playing for the past 6 years. Not
They're
great.
like the Giants of the West. They play just good enough to get your hopes up every so often.
Yeah, they're a bunch of jobbers out there, if you will.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take the Dolphins because you got Tyreek Hill still, and you still got some high-powered offensive weapons over there. They're going to get, I think they'll get hyped up with Tua coming back, being able to throw the ball around. I'm going to take the Dolphins to win in the spread as well, and I'm going to take the over because I think Tua's going to try to prove a point, and I don't think the Dolphins defense is exact enough to stop Murray that much, where it's just going to be a high-scoring game.
I'm with you on everything, and the big thing for me is the fact that the over-under here on this whole thing. That's the weird thing on this. So Tua, like you said, coming back, when Tua's been a quarterback for the Dolphins their last 2 seasons, 26.8 points per game the average. Other quarterbacks, 13.1. That's a little crazy. Actually, I'm sorry. It's going back even further. It's going back to 2022. So Arizona, meanwhile, has hit the under each of its last 3 games because they don't score a lot of points. They got a good defense. It's kind of like the Giants. You kind of expect an under anytime they play. So I just think this is a good enough offense. Like you said, the emotions coming back with Tua coming back. So I'm with you 100%. Dolphins over. So, all right, let's get into the other New York team here. You got the Jets at the Patriots there. Patriots are getting 7 points in this. It's a 41 over under. Now, the Patriots, though, guys, are winless against the spread and straight up picks over its last 6 games, guys. They're doing pretty bad. New York, so the Jets, though, winless versus the spread and straight up each of the last 4 games. Someone's got to break a streak here. We're going streaking. We're going streaking through the gymnasium. Oh, going a little old school here. But guys, I just think the Jets are gonna do just enough at that point there to win the game. I think it's gonna be a very low scoring game. I think that's gonna be the game where you all of a sudden have a really tight divisional matchup there because these guys obviously see each other quite often, and neither team can put up a lot of points right now. So I got the under, and I think it's going to be just close enough for the Patriots to beat that spread. So I got Jets to win, Patriots to beat the spread, and I got the under on that, which, by the way, would break both streaks if that happens.
That would be amazing. I agree with you as well that the Jets are going to win this game, but the Pats are going to cover in a close game, but it's probably going to go the over because let's face it, Drake May has been putting up some points as the Patriots quarterback, which is weird to say over the past couple of years, but he's getting multiple touchdowns per game. And you also have Aaron Rodgers you can't cut out, which will also get multiple touchdowns in each game. So if you get 2 apiece, you get 28 points. Yeah, it's easy peasy, but there's going to be a couple Bryce Youngs and some more touchdowns in this game and in the close. All right, up next, you got the Falcons going into Drew's area playing the Buccaneers.
Oh, yes.
The
stadium.
Bucs are giving up 2.5 points to the Falcons in this game, and the over-under is 46 points. I had some difficulty picking this game, but you have to look at this realistically. You have Mike Evans, who's his hamstring, who knows where it's going to be at. You had Godwin, who dislocated his ankle, which is weird because he might be coming back later this year, but that injury looks pretty gruesome.
Bad.
It looks pretty bad.
Almost Nick Chubb bad.
I saw that and I went, ooh, is that a broken tip of the fibula? Like, ew, gross.
Things to make
but when these guys play each other pretty tough the first time around.
Yes.
But I don't think it's going to be as much as a high-scoring game. So, yeah, it was just difficult for me. I took the Falcons in this game. I took the Falcons to cover, and I'm taking the under because I don't think they're going to be throwing 5 touchdowns apiece in this game.
Yeah, this I think is going to be a really, really high-scoring game, and that's the only thing I disagree with you on. Do you know what the record is for most passing yards by a Falcon?
It was Kirk Cousins with 500 yards.
The last time he played the Buccaneers, he lit the Bucs for 509 yards, guys. And that was a 36-30 overtime victory for the Falcons there. So 66 points. Again, 66 points between these two teams. Baker Mayfield is actually leading the NFL right now in passing touchdowns at 3 in each of the last 3 weeks. Think about that, guys. 9 in 3 weeks. In less than half the season, he's probably beating Daniel Jones by at least 8. I know. That's mean. It's okay. I can say it. No, he's actually got 6 touchdowns, Daniel Jones, so it's not he's still beating him. He's beating him for the last 2 weeks, but I mean, or tying him at least for the last 2 weeks, but it is what it is. Yeah, so I got Falcons over. I think it's going to be a really high-scoring game. I would say this, too. Watch, guys, Giant fans. Watch for Sterling Shepard. He's going to have a big role in this game. I'm telling you right now.
Yes, 100% he will be.
Nice to see him not get hurt for once. All right, next up. Yep, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. You're up. Drew?
Huh? I'm there.
You there?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes. Oh, we're here. Drew, you're up. Talk about this game.
It my turn? Okay, Packers at the... It's been a long day, guys. Packers at the Jaguars. Jaguars are getting 3.5 points in this. The over-under is 49.5, guys. What's interesting on this, as we talk about the, what's been going on in the games here, the Jaguars have hit the over on the last 3 games. The Packers have hit the under in the last 3 games. So that's going to be the hardest part of this game to figure out, because let's be honest here, the Packers are a better team, and it's not even close. So I got Packers to win, Packers to cover the spread. I'm going to go under on this. And I'm going to say that the that the defense for the Packers just gets this done, stops Trevor Lawrence, a.k.a. the per-plus version of Daniel Jones, to go ahead and get this going here. And I'm going to ask Mr. Anonymous Lemur over here, as you're being called apparently on our Google spreadsheet we have open. Anonymous Lemur, who do you have?
Nice.
That's what it says. It says on my thing when I look over your thing. When I hover over where you're on, it says, "Oh, Anonymous Lemur's on this."
That's hysterical. Well,
It's
I agree with you. The Packers
at the top.
Well, I agree with you. The Packers are going to win this game. The Packers are going to cover this game. I just think it's going to be the over. Granted, Xavier McKinney, X is going to give it to you, has been playing lights out in safety for Green Bay. But I think this is a coming out party for Love as well, because let's be real, the Jaguars defense is god awful, and Trevor Lawrence does get a lot of crap around the NFL, but he also put up some points. Granted, there's ETN and some issues, but I think they're going to go in the over in this game. So it should be fun to watch, but like you said, this is going to be all over the place. Up next, you got a fun old divisional game. You got the Colts going into Houston, playing the Texans. The Texans are giving up 5.5 points. They're 5.5 point favorites in this game, I should say. The over-under is 46.5 points. This game depends on Anthony Richardson. Is he going to show up? Is he going to play? Is he going to play like he plays for half the time in the NFL, or is he going to play the other half time? Is he going to look like an amazing quarterback, or like he's injured again?
Yeah.
Let's be real, because sometimes he goes out there and plays and he doesn't look good at all. But there's other times you look like this is the future of the NFL. But that's also to say the Texans also have not had their issues this year as well. But this is a divisional game, and Houston is playing at home. They're the better team. I'm taking the Texans to win this game. I'm taking the Colts to cover that 5 points. I think it's going to be a really close game. And I'm going to take the under in this 46.5 points, because let's be real. Both these teams have not been scoring as high-powered as they should be. Grant, they could, but I'm going to take it down in this game.
So here's some interesting stats for you real quick to tell you point blank why I'm going to be at where I'm at in this whole game. And that makes a lot of sense, I think. Texans are undefeated at home. They're 500 on the road. Texans literally have beaten their opponents by a combined 6 points on the season. That's it. The Colts, 6-1 against the spread, which is, by the way, the best record in the NFL. Not that I get some any kind of trophy or banner or anything, but 6-1 against the spread. So, guys, yeah, Texans to win, Colts to cover. and under, just like you said, is what I got as well. So we're in the same boat for this one here as well. So next up, we got the Saints at the Chargers. The
Ooh,
Saints
doggy.
at the starting the 4:00 games here, guys. So the Chargers are a 7.5-point favorite in this. Obviously, that's a lot because of how the Saints been playing lately without Derek Carr. 40.5 points is the spread, guys. That's definitely would have been a whole lot different than what it would be. Just a little bit a couple weeks ago there. The year started and they were just on fire, the Saints team. Derek Carr still out of practice. He is resumed throwing, but he is not going to be expected to be playing this week there. So got at least one more week if you're a Saints fan of watching your team be like the Giants and suck. So because of that, I got Chargers. I do think Chargers are more of a run game kind of team than they have been in the past. They're a little more lower scoring than they have been in the past. So I do think they'll probably cover the spread in this. I give the Saints that at least, not a complete embarrassment. And I got the under on the points because, again, both teams aren't going to be high-flying offenses this week. So Chargers, Saints, under.
I agree with you 100%. I think the Chargers are the better team in this matchup. I think the quarterback play
better matchup, the better team in this matchup.
You might be right there.
I may be crazy.
Like you said, Derek Carr is out there.
It just may be a lunatic you're looking for.
Ooh.
Turn off the light.
Both defenses are probably going to show up in this game. And like you said, Jim Harbaugh is he took over this offense, and it's a run-first offense. We talked about old school football, and that's what they do. That's what the Harbaughs do. They run first, ask questions later. So I'm taking the under as well in this game. So, yeah, Chargers, Saints, and then in the under. Just another trifecta, lock in the books.
Here's a good stat for the Chargers. The Chargers have scored the least amount of points in the AFC West at 106. They've also given up the least amount at 83. Both of them by far the lowest in their in their division. Yet they're still 3-3. In fact, their 83 points against is the lowest in the AFC. They're tied with the Titans for points, guys.
It's impressive.
They've only scored one more touchdown all year long than the Patriots. That's how different this Chargers team is than prior years, guys.
Yeah.
We called it going into it. This was not going to be the old Chargers. This is going to be
I'm pretty sure in the first 3 weeks of football, the Saints put up more points than what the Chargers have done all year.
Probably.
But the Saints since then the Saints have put up maybe 80 points.
Exactly. So
all right, up next you got the Bills going to Seattle playing them Hawks. them sea pigeons. The Hawks are favored in this by 3 points. Well, it's actually they're given 3 points in this game. And then the over-under is 47.5 points. Let's be honest here. This Seahawks team is still beat up. They're still not playing great football. They've been playing better football, but the Bills are a better team. They're going to win this game. That 3-point favorites doesn't mean that much because they're probably going to win by 7. And I'm going to take the over because I do think that the Bills defense, as much as they've been playing decent this year, they're not. The Eugene Smiths out there is going to put up some points.
Yeah. It's interesting because you look at what had this whole thing started for Amari Cooper in Buffalo. 4 catches, 66 yards, got a touchdown. It's off to a good start for a guy that didn't even practice all week with the team, basically. But then you look at the Seahawks, and like you said, they have been playing good as of late. They basically lost 3 games in a row. But then last week, all of a sudden, they come back against the Falcons, 34-14, a very good team. This is going to be a closer matchup potentially, but I think that the Bills still squeak this out. I'm with you. I got Bills, and I got the over.
Bills for days. Pay them Bills. Oh, we already did that. Never mind.
I got Bills.
They're multiplying.
No, I That's chills.
Oh, never
I'm
mind.
losing control. Better shape up.
Pay that rent.
Anyway, Panthers at the Broncos next up. We get the 4:25 games, which always crazy.
420.
Why are you doing 4:00 and then 4:30 games? Just start them all at 4. Stop it. But anyway, this is going to be kind of an interesting matchup, I think, because the Broncos have been a little bit hot lately. They're a 10-point favorite in this game, guys. 10 points, and with just a 41.5-point spread. That just tells you how close the pundits think this game is going to be. And why do you think that? Because they believe the Panthers are going to be coming up short because Bryce Young is the quarterback again this week after an accident for the Red Ryder BB gun there himself and Andy Dalton, who hopefully everything's good with his family. I haven't heard any updates as far as that. Again, I don't pretend to follow the Panthers that closely, so there probably is an update that I just haven't seen. But yeah, this is going to be a bad game for Panthers fans, guys. I'm just hoping that Andy Dalton might want to take a rest for a few weeks and let Bryce Young continue going until the Giants play him. But part of me also wishes otherwise. Is part of me doesn't want to win because I want the draft pick. I'm so torn. I'm torn. I'm like the anti-tank guy, so it's like, but it's just like, oh my god, we need a quarterback ready. Anyway,
these other teams have to do better than us.
Yeah, I just need the Panthers start winning, along with the Patriots and a couple other teams. But yeah, I got Broncos to win. I actually think the Broncos will cover the spread. And I do think it's going to be the over just because of how low it is. It's not going to be that much lower, but like watch this be where the Broncos score like another 37 points like they did last week, if I remember correctly. 33 points last week it was against the aforementioned Saints. But guys, they've been putting up some points. They put up 33 against the Saints. They put up just 16 against the Chargers, which, like we said, give up the least amount of points of any team in the entire AFC. Then they put up 34 against the Raiders. So it's almost like the Bo Nix kind of figure something out here. I'm not sure. We're going to find out. But if you're going to find it out, you're going to find out against the Panthers, who point blank stinks. So I got Raiders. I got Raiders. I got Raiders winning in the Broncos and Panthers game.
It's amazing.
It'd be a crazy ending. But I got Broncos, and I got the over.
Yeah. So Bo Nix definitely figured something out. That defense over in Denver has been playing fantastic. So I am taking the Broncos to win this game. I think they're going to skunk the Panthers. So I'm going to take that cover as well. I'm taking them in the spread. 10 points. And I've talked about this a lot. But I'm not saying the Broncos are that great of a team. I'm just saying that the Panthers are that bad of a team. They're going to get skunked by the Broncos, who's been playing lights out in defense, top 5 defense probably in the league right now. Yeah. And their offense is playing average, which they're playing against a terrible defense and a not so good offense. So I'm going to take the under in this game because I don't have faith in the Panthers to put up points. I think this game's going to be more like a 30-3 game. And you get the under. Like, it's going to be a bad-looking game. But up next, at the next game, talk about the Broncos. You got their divisional rivals over here. You got the Chiefs going over to the Raiders. The Raiders.
Tell us about a lemur.
The Raiders Vegas are saying they're going to get skunked because they're giving 9.5 points at home. And the over-under in this game is 41.5 points. And in a divisional game against the Chiefs, who have been playing, obviously they're undefeated, they're playing good football, but they have also not been playing like the Chiefs have been playing since Patrick Mahomes came to the league. They're playing closer old school football. As we talked before, run the ball, run the clock. Let's let the time run down. Granted, they do put up points, but I'm going to take the Chiefs to win this game. I'm going to take the Chiefs to win this game. I'm actually going to take the Raiders to cover that 9.5 points. Like, the Raiders have not been playing good football, but they're playing against a divisional rival, and they're playing in Vegas. So, like, you got to give some respect to the home team.
No respect. No respect.
No respect. And I'm going to take the over in this game because literally 42 points is nothing.
Yeah. I'm 100% with you in this game. 100%. So let's get into the disappointment bowl because people are disappointed by this game because they thought it was going to be Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels. Looks like Jaden Daniels is not going to play. And then it's going to be the Marcus Mariota show, which, let's be honest, not even Marcus Mariota wants to see Marcus Mariota play at this point. Like, that's
or his wife.
She'll pretend to, at least.
Yeah, touche.
She'll be like, he'll be like, hey, dear, I'm going to play football tonight. I have a headache. I'm sorry. No, football, not football. Don't mention headaches. Two is around somewhere.
Oh, jeez.
God. But yeah. So Bears at the Commanders. You got 2.5 point underdog. The Commanders are because of this quarterback issue, and 43 points for the over under, guys. Listen, the Bears defense has been playing pretty decent. You got Marcus Mariota coming in there at that point there. To me, I feel like this is going to be a route game. And you guys know I'm not a huge fan of Caleb Williams. I think this is going to be a game he looks good in. I think this is going to be a game that you go, oh, God, here's the old Commanders again. This is how important Jaden Daniels is to this franchise right now. So I got Bears to win, Bears to obviously cover at that point, 2.5 points, ain't nothing. And I got the over.
Yeah, I agree with you for the most part. 66.6% of this, what you picked, I'm going to agree with.
I think 66.66666% even.
66666.
The number of the beast.
But yeah, like I said, without Daniel playing for the Commanders, what do they got going for them? Like, it's not much. And you got Williams that's been playing better football, and the Bears defense actually kind of been showing up a little bit there. So yeah, Bears win, Bears cover. The Lemurs gets a pick. Lemur gets the picks in, and I'm going to take the under in this game just because I don't have faith that Mariota is going to put up points.
You got to have faith, as Fred Durst and George Michaels would say.
Yes. Go to Sunday Night Football.
Sunday night.
Night. You got the boys, them good old boys.
No, they're not the good old boys.
No, not at all. They haven't.
That's a TV show with a car.
I was going to say that's a good song.
It's a good old boys.
But yes, you got the Cowboys going into San Francisco playing the Niners. The Niners are giving up 4 points at home to the boys, and it's a 46.5 over under. Both teams are a little bit on offense, but the Niners got a way better defense. The Niners are going to make Dak look silly. They always do when they play. So I'm taking the Niners to win. I'm going to take the Niners to cover this spread as well. But I'm going to take the under in this game because I think it's going to be one of those low-scoring games, sadly.
You know, I'm hoping that the Dallas Cowboys are sponsored by Rice-A-Roni because San Francisco is going to feast on the Cowboys this week. That's point blank what's going to happen. And I'm assuming, based on what I've learned in commercials, that's what people in San Francisco eat. So I'm going to go with the 49ers to win. I'm going to go with them to cover the spread. And I'm with you on the under as well. So, yeah, we're same across the board on this one. So let's get into the game here that we've already talked about a little bit here, just yesterday's episode. Yeah. So if you haven't heard anything on the game yet, you want to hear the full breakdown, go right on to YouTube, pop in there to the two Giant Goofballs, go right to the podcast page, and that'll get you yesterday's episode. The clips will be out later on. I think they're coming out like tomorrow or probably or Saturday.
Most likely.
Yeah, depends on what I plan on doing when I do the other episodes. The clips from today. So, but yeah, Giants, Steelers, Monday Night Football in Pittsburgh. Steelers are 6-point favorites. Over under is 36.5, which, by the way, guys, is by far the lowest over under this week. The lowest over unders otherwise is 41 points. That's how low scoring of a game they expect this to be.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the Steelers. We talked about it. Daniel Jones sucks at primetime games. A 1-14 record on primetime. The worst by any starting quarterback since the merger with a minimum of 10 starts. He's also gone 7 straight primetime starts without throwing a touchdown pass. That's how bad it's been. So, yeah, think about it. It's almost half a season, guys. That's how many games it's been. That's really bad. Yeah, so I got Giants to lose to the Steelers. I got the Steelers to cover the spread. I got the under on this as well. I think this is going to be a really, really bad game. And I'm hoping, I hate to say it this way, I'm hoping this is the Daniel Jones swan song. But we'll find out. That's not our call, obviously.
Yep. I agree with you for the most part, but I do have a little bit of faith in the Giants to get that spread.
I'm going to keep on doing it.
Yeah, because I do think they'll cover the spread. I think the defense is going to keep it close enough against the Steelers offense, which, I mean, granted, yes, they looked good last week with Wilson in there, but I do think that I don't think the Steelers offense is that good. I just think they play at a higher level, but I think they're also playing a better defense than they've seen. So I do think that they'll cover because the Steelers have played some really close games this year, and I think that's what this game's. I should say really close. They're probably going to win this game and be dominant, but not win by 6 points in a dominant fashion. But they're going to take a lead and just never look back.
Yeah, I think that. I really think it's going to be like that kind of bad, like a 21-3 kind of blowout. Like I mean, like a low-scoring blowout is what it's going to end up being. Like I'm more and more pessimistic as the week progresses here, guys. That's not good. So
to 16.
We're going to find out. We're going to
17.
find out. And let's see if I can get back more of my lead that Rob chipped away there as he freaking crushed me last week there. So I'm still up there. But it's just 1 point. 1 is the loneliest number that there'll ever be. 2 is just as sad as 1. It's like, is that song about doing a threesome? Is that what that is? Well, hold on, I just thought about that.
It's about a breakup.
Is it? But 2 is just as sad as 1. It's the loneliest number since the number 1. I'm just saying.
Pretty sure it's when you break up with someone that you don't really care about anymore, and you're slowly in a relationship. Could be about a threesome. I don't know.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
We'll let you guys know about Sunday.
Next episode, we'll talk about this. Let's get through the comments here real quick there. We got Vinny G-Man saying, salute, fellas. Salute, man. What's up? He says, we suck again. It's like Rob Schneider over here.
Yeah.
John says, watching Thursday Night Football thinking, man, I miss when we were a team that could play good. I think not hood. I think good against another team. At least make it a battle. We are just so bad. It's messed up. Yes, exactly. He says, imagine if McAdoo got Mahomes for us like he wanted. He'd still be our coach. We would have more titles. I'm going to disagree and say that Mahomes would probably be out of the league. Part of it is because of the coaching he had with Andy Reid. I'm sorry. Andy Reid made Donovan McNabb look good. Just saying.
Donovan McNabb didn't know the game could end in a tie. And he was in the NFL for over a decade at that point.
Exactly. And ESPN even hired him for a little while. Just saying. If you're looking at ESPN, we're here. We may not know whose turn it is at times. We're doing our picks, but we know there's overtime. We know the rules. John says, I'm not guesting tonight, am I? Not the kind of kitty I wanted to see. Listen, everybody wants to see this kitty. He says, Eli is his first ballot record. It knocked guest tops in categories and 2-time Super Bowl MVP and Vest undefeated. Yam Brady. John, have you been drinking tonight? Then beat him again, won on the road playoffs. Listen, again, the problem is you can sit there and say he's also got a 500 record as a quarterback. He also has a ton of interceptions. He also did get very much in the postseason. He's never made an all-pro. I get the arguments that people have for Eli not getting in. Here's the only thing I care about. When we talk about the best quarterbacks of all time, who do we talk about? Tom Brady, right? I mean, he's most people's number 1. Joe Montana.
Yeah.
Joe Montana's up there as well. What do those two guys have in common? Rings. That's what made them the best at their position. So if you're going to go ahead and judge those two in that regard, you have to judge Eli Manning.
Yeah.
Only a handful of quarterbacks have more rings than him. He still owns the record for most passing yards in a single postseason. He literally got MVP in both those Super Bowls. He has crazy throws in each of those Super Bowls. He beat Tom Brady, the best quarterback of all time, both times. I'm sorry, the man's a Hall of Famer. He says, Roberto, puny human. Rob is hulking up. Did you say Falk or fuck? I said Falk. Tiki time. Tiki Barber, Hall of Fame. Plus, Tiki got a late start. He did get a late start, but that says him for the fumbles. He got 3. Here's the thing. Tiki got a late start not playing for 3 years, but he also was dominant still at 31, which is when most running backs are retiring. So, you know. Then he said, what did I say? Oh, Bill, not me. Yeah, no, you know. Tom from Big Blue Avenue says, what's up, fellas? Love the shirt. True. Great way to describe the Giants offense. Yes, it is. I'm very good at doing absolutely nothing. Also, we should congratulate Tom there. That's just, I assume this is the woman he just got engaged to in the picture with him there. As Tom is officially engaged, officially off the market, ladies.
Congratulations.
Yes, congrats, man. Seriously. Deb says to me, has no interest in going to the Giants. I am not a Bill B fan. Yeah, a lot of things. I get it. He rubs people the wrong way. John says nothing else is working, so let Bill come and try. It's like he's at that point. He's given up. And Deb says he pulled too much crap in NE. Yeah, he also won a lot there though too. So John says still say Spags could be our coach. He deserves a shot. He's still defensive guru. I think if he got us a good offensive coordinator, he could win titles just like Bill won for Patriots. I mean, in the end, guys, what it really boils down to is Spags is probably at this point close to retiring. Like, I don't know his age off the top of my head here, but I can't imagine he's 64 years old, guys. I can't imagine he's looking to go back into head coaching. He's going to just be a defensive coordinator for a while, as long as they're winning rings. He's going to retire as a icon in Kansas City, where he'll never have to buy a beer or a rack of ribs ever again.
Probably.
And that's probably what's going to happen, you know? John says, guy on TV just talking about Giants versus Pittsburgh, saying there goes the most boring game on TV. He's not wrong. Except for maybe the Broncos and Patriots, Broncos and Panthers, but we'll see what that game goes.
I was going to say, that's going to be at least you're going to see some points.
Yeah, if you think that game is boring, wait till we go to Germany. Well, wait, there's more. John says, if anyone's interested, a Red Baron deep dish single supreme pizza, 2 in a box, 2 minutes 30 seconds, can go less. Pretty good for little pizzas. I'm sorry, but I cannot trust any Red Baron pizzas for a very good review. And I'm also saying, John, that from now on, your taste in food is no longer holds any water of credibility here whatsoever with the two Giant Goofballs. You really sit there saying the Red Baron deep dish single supreme pizza. You live in Jersey, don't you, dude? Like, go get some real pizza.
You can just go down the street. Point in any direction, you'll probably find a good pizzeria.
Seriously. I understand schmucks like me in Florida having to go with that kind of stuff. Like, Costco's pizza is a great deal at $10. Like,
you get
they don't taste like crap anyway. You might as well get a big pizza that's cheap, you know? Like, he also said Jameis Winston might do good for the Browns. Again, I don't think he's going to be playing. They got Dorian Thompson-Smith. Is that his name there for the Browns? I got to look it up here real quick to verify because they're driving me nuts here. Yeah, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. That's his name. That was the kid they got in the 4th round last year from UCLA from our draft talk there. Let's see. John also says, is it he said, she said, is there actual proof against the Deshaun Watson video, etc.? No, he wasn't R. Kelly or P. Diddy and getting all that kind of stuff against him there at that point.
But when you got like 25 allegations against
seriously, how many women have to come forward before we take this man as a serious predator? I'm sorry. There's no doubt in my mind. I have no proof. No, I don't.
Listen, if you got 1 or 2, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But you got 25.
Yeah. At one point, you got to go, this is very coincidental. Maybe it's true. He says Puka is back doing good tonight. Good for him, man. That's a good story. I like Puka.
Yeah, it's 21-20 right now.
There you go. Who?
The Rams.
Up. Keep it there, guys. Keep it there. Don't change the score. We'll get 2 out of 3 of that one then. John says, "Anyone who watched the American Horror Story Aaron Hernandez series? Wow, he liked the fellas, had head injuries. I think he meant CTE. After autopsy, they said he had injury to head in college, NFL. How no one caught that in the NFL.
No one looked for it at that time.
It's also not an American Horror Story. That's a different show. It's just the series on FX. They're both the same channel. They're not intertwined, I think. But yeah, I mean, listen, you don't make the kind of moves a guy like that made without having something wrong with the noggin. Let's be honest. John says Baker just got jinxed. Everybody hurting now. Yeah, that's definitely what's going on there in Tampa. That's for sure. And he says they know Daniels is not the quarterback for us. So Daniel is not the quarterback for us. So why play them? Let Tommy Lasagna play. Damn it. I'm with you. He said everybody. This is why they call them 2 giant goofballs, because they don't know what the hell they're doing, huh? Oh, your turn, my turn. At least we put it in the name. The truth and advertising laws are right there. And then he says, "Tell me about it, stud," which I'm not sure what's going on with that part there.
Because we're talking about we got chills. They're multiplying.
Is that in the song? I don't even know. I haven't seen Grease in probably 10, 15 years at least.
Olivia Newton-John at the end. "Tell me about it, stud." Throws out a secret.
You know when I stopped watching Grease? When I heard the song "Grease is the word," because no, Grease is not the word. The bird is the word. God damn it, the bird is the word. That movie lies, and I will not be part of it.
I mean, technically, Grease is also a word as well.
Back to the lemur again.
So it's a lemur. The word too.
No, it's not a word. It's the word, apparently. That's the difference. That's the difference. All righty, guys. So we'll be back again for you guys Sunday. So since we're not doing a post-game show, since we're not going to do a show, we're going to do a recap Sunday night for you guys. Rob and I will have to figure out the time still. We haven't discussed that. We've both had busy schedules here. So best way to find that is just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribey button. The subscribey button. Exactly. Ring the bell. Listen, the more places you subscribe to us, the more likely you are to get told when we go live. Because I know my phone goes off like 5 different places whenever we go live, which is crazy because we only go to 4 places.
Yeah.
As always, guys, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and of course, Rob's favorite. And we're always live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and a post-game show. And like I said, this week we're doing a little different because of the fact we're playing Monday Night Football. We'll do our usual Monday show on Sunday, do our usual post-game show that we do on Sunday on Monday. Rob and I may also do some play-by-play for you guys on Monday as well, too. It depends on our timing and our schedules and all that kind of fun stuff there as well for you guys. Also depends on how I can watch the game because I don't have ESPN. I got to watch it on this little phone. Like, seriously? Come on, NFL. Get your Nike stuff together.
Get a tablet. Get a laptop. Come on, let's go.
I have a tablet. I have a laptop. They block it out. Seriously. They try to prevent you from doing that stuff. I don't know if the tablet will work. I can try the tablet. We'll see. But either way, if not, I'll be like I was last week going like this, watching the game. All right, guys. We'll see you guys again Sunday night. Appreciate you guys for watching as always. And as always, Giant fans.
Go Giants!
Thanks for listening to 2 Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.